The fuck do you want?
Hello?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Who this?
John, you there?
Yeah?
Hey, it's Alex.
Okay.
He's like, who the fuck
15.
is this?
Yeah,
I knew it. I knew it. How you doing, man?
Okay, how are you?
Good. I haven't heard from you in a while. Oh, wait, I had a little intro for you, too, and I forgot to play it. So let me play it right now. Just be quiet over there. You're not even going to hear this, so be quiet for 15 seconds. I want to play a little clip from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I've been thinking about letting Grandpa have some fun. You always said he's the best. He's the best, all right. Just let him have a whack. Hey, Grandpa, we're gonna let you have this one. Just let him have a whack. Now, you just hush. Yeah, it won't hurt none. My old grandpa's the best killer there ever was. I never took more than one lick, they say. I did 60 in 5 minutes once. Say, could have done more if the hook and pull gang could have gotten the beeves out of the way faster. Now don't you cry, none. Old grandpa's the best. It won't hurt a bit.
That is creepy, man. Grandpa's the best. It won't hurt a bit.
Love it.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Love it.
John, you were 20 years old, and you were playing...
I was 20.
And you were playing
the youngest cast member.
Yeah, playing a 113-year-old man, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about an age gap.
Yeah, no kidding.
I saw some of that today. That was wild. That must have been fun. And this was, you were doing theater before this, right?
Yeah, I was doing theater, and this is my first. Several of us, it was our first movie. Can you understand me?
I can hear you perfectly. Yeah. So yeah, John. Now, first of all, anyone who's ever met John at a convention, not only is he one of the most friendly, affable, genuine guests that you could ever meet at these shows, but he's always there to chat and usually has a beer in hand and likes to bullshit.
He's the best.
Yeah,
Grandpa's the best.
Yeah, he's the best. Grandpa's the best. Yeah. So no, I mean, you really are. And you know, the love that you receive from horror fans was probably never more evident than in what you went through the past year.
Oh yeah. Unbelievable.
For those who don't know, John was dealing with it's jaw cancer, right? It was cancer in your jaw.
Cancer. It was gingival cancer, and it spread into my jaw. I was pretty sick.
Yeah.
I smoked for 47 years, and I know that you still smoke and everything. But,
yeah.
You know, when they told me what it was, I said, "Damn, I quit smoking 5 years ago." And he goes, "Well, this probably, honestly, started about 10 years ago, and it's just been waiting to present itself." And I went, my first reaction was, "Damn, you mean I didn't have to quit?"
Yeah. I was going to get it anyway. Yeah.
I was already sick.
Yeah, I know. The cigarette smoking is definitely something I'm going to tackle. I mean, you and I used to stand out together in the cold smoking cigarettes.
Oh, yes.
And then it switched to vape, and you were hitting the vape pen for a while.
Yeah, I can't do any of that stuff.
And now you're not doing any of that. What are you still drinking beers though?
I have one right here.
All right. There you go.
Congratulations.
Good boy. No, I mean, I know that you enjoy to take the edge off a little bit sometimes. And
oh, yes, absolutely.
I wanted to bring you in at the beginning of this drugs and alcohol conversation because I know you have a lot of thoughts on a lot of things, and this is something that you can relate to also. My contention about drugs and alcohol is someone who started smoking pot at a very, very young age, and I spent my teenage years really experimenting with psychedelics and LSD and mushrooms and some designer.
I feel like we should just cut
raver
to you
drugs
in the desert
at
as
that
a
point.
child spinning in a circle.
Well, see, that's the thing. I was really taken by that Doors of Perception, Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
I named this episode Sound Immaculate because that was really the inspiration towards me wanting to open my own doors of perception.
Did you ever read
Aldous Huxley's?
Yeah.
I've read, I haven't read all of it, but I've read a lot of it, and I know I've read a lot of the quotes that Jim certainly appreciated from that. And I do agree with it. And you know, Jim's poetry was, you know, kind of in my foundation growing up through that time, and affected, inspired at least a lot of the writing that I was doing at the time. But also, you know, he did kind of inspire me to want to know what those drugs felt like and to release those, open up those perceptions in my own brain and release those chemicals that, you know, really expand the mind and make awareness of, you know, Joe Rogan really did put it so eloquently and great on his show that it demonstrates the insignificance that we really are in this, in this world. You know, I mean, what a small little particle we are.
I think it absolutely, hallucinogenics and even just marijuana, really changed the way I looked at things, at everything.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it definitely
my relationships with people.
Yeah, it made me kinder,
the same thing with me.
Gentler, more interested in people, less abrasive.
I went too far.
I mean, it did. You know, and when we do these conventions, you know, I know you have a beer in hand. Often it's a lot of work talking to people, and it makes us a little friendlier and looser and more willing to engage and discuss, and not only willing to answer the same questions that we hear over and over again, whether I had nightmares and how long you were in makeup for, you know.
Oh my God.
But more than that, you know, it does kind of just loosen you up to have a more interest in people.
Well, you have to look at things from their point of view, too. I mean, lots of times, I know these people know exactly how long I was in makeup because they've heard it.
Sure.
They've seen it written somewhere. But they get up to you, and you're the star to them, and they get nervous, and they don't know what to say to you, so they go, "Oh, I heard the makeup was terrible, was it?"
Yeah. They ask you a question they clearly know the answer to.
Yes, and they just feed into it. You tell them, you know, and you talk to them. You try to find a different angle on it for them, so, you know.
Now, when you made this movie when you were 20, and I know that you studied acting in Chicago, right? And you theater was how you came into it. But you lived very, you know, much like me. I waited tables for 17 years. You worked in the restaurant business a long time.
Oh yeah, my whole life.
Yeah. I mean that's. I do think acting and waiting tables go hand in hand because you have these little performances with every person, and
Dude,
it's memorization. It's the same skill set.
I worked at Chili's for 10 years. In that time, I made 3 feature horror films while I worked at Chili's.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they really do go hand in hand. But not only that, but it added some, you know, I mean, your life, you had the same humility that I did. You don't. People say to us stuff like, "Oh, you guys you're like man of the people and stuff." Like, no, we are the people. What are you talking about? We are as much you as you are us. Like, I mean, you and I didn't live in the lap of luxury in Los Angeles, and despite people that think, "Oh, you were in a movie, you must be filthy rich."
I get that shit today.
What are you doing here?
Yeah. Where the fuck should I be? That movie was in 1974.
Not telling anyone. I just wouldn't tell people because then they got these questions to answer. You know, geez, what the hell are you doing here? Waiting, or you know, bar at this dump, or you know, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, what are you doing here in this neighborhood of Chicago? Why aren't you, you know, in L.A.? You know, well, it's not that simple. Dipwad.
Yeah.
You think if I could,
maybe I don't like LA.
If I could, I would.
Oh, thanks for the tip. I just left the movie set to come bullshit with you.
Yeah.
I don't even work here.
So much for the kinder, gentler. So much for the kinder and gentler me. That just went right out the window, didn't it?
So John, when did pot? Was it a part of your life at one point?
Oh yeah, I started smoking. I can tell you the day. I had my first joint was the 3rd of July, 1968.
Oh, wow. What a great time to smoke a joint.
In an apartment on Woodlawn Avenue in San Antonio, Texas.
Wow.
And,
man.
68, you were born in 54. Well, he was born in 54, so you're 14 years old, right around the same time as me.
No, I was born in 53. So
53, okay. All right, close enough. And then that weekend, for that weekend, I went with these other hippies
friends of my sisters up to Comfort, Texas, to Guadalupe River, and stayed in a cabin up there and went tubing, which is slow-mo tubing in Texas, man.
Yeah.
It's really slow and easy tubing.
Yeah.
And smoked dope that entire holiday, just constantly.
Yeah.
And got my training wheels off, and then I was just.
And then that's it. Then you're off to the races.
Learned how to roll my own joint, and that was all
and
she
then
wrote.
Nobody could stop you.
Yeah.
Katie bar the door.
But I noticed, I've had plenty of drinks with you, but you pass on. I mean, even before you dealt with the health issues. I mean, you passed on the joint. Did you have a turn off to weed at some point? Or
paranoia. Yeah, I got indicted. Excuse me.
Yeah, you're
Is that
fine.
locked? I think I locked my wife outside in the rain.
Hi, Stacy.
Oh, it's Donna. Hey. Oh, what you got?
John's wife, Stacy's sweetheart too.
Actually, this is her mother was bringing me over some food.
Oh, okay.
Uber Eats.
It goes good with the beer.
Okay.
So, what are you eating?
What are you eating over there?
What do you got there?
What are you
mashed potatoes, meatloaf.
Okay. Are you?
Sounds
So
fantastic.
are you eating whatever you want at this point, or do you still have restrictions?
Yeah, I have just this last week. I've started eating pretty much anything that I can chew on.
Oh, good. Well, is that suggestive?
My new thing is cereal. I just been dying for cereal, so I realized after all these months that hey, I can just pour the milk on it, wait 15 minutes, and then eat it.
There you go. Softens it right up.
And so I've been like hitting the cereal like a madman the last few days. Once I just, it took me 6 months to figure that out. Ugh.
Well, if you could get past the paranoia, pot and cereal go really good together.
man.
Just so you know,
Pot and anything goes.
they really.
Well, I'll tell you what happened with.
It's like Skippy and jelly.
Yeah.
Bye, Donna. Thank you. That was my mother. Oh. Brought all this stuff over.
Yeah. So now also I've heard that a lot. That even though you were so used to smoking pot for years, a paranoia switch flips and kind of doesn't feel the same.
That's why I
anymore.
didn't start smoking pot till I was 38.
Yeah.
It was the same thing that turned me off to LSD, and then shortly after that, I had one or two bad trips, and then.
Well, I do think.
Then I continued doing LSD because I knew I wouldn't have a bad trip.
Listen, you can only rob so many banks in Mexico shirtless before you have to stop doing cocaine. So that's where I drew my line.
This is Joe Davison.
Like,
John, you guys would get along real good. I certainly think with psychedelics and mushrooms and LSD, I haven't practiced what I've preached in life in this case, but I do think that less is more with those drugs.
I'm very angry.
I do think that they open up your mind to a different grasp of reality and different perceptions and perspectives. But Timothy Leary, maybe Charles Manson, whatever, like people who do it to excess have serious problems. Your brain really can only handle being opened up that way.
I don't know if
times.
I smoke so much weed, I'll become
Timothy Leary got
Manson.
really fucking weird. Started drinking like a madman and beating the shit out of his wife and everything.
Yeah,
I mean, that can be like anything really in excess.
Anything with excess is the problem, and that's part of my argument here. One of the things I feel about drugs and alcohol, the war on drugs to me is a bullshit notion for many different reasons, but it's not the drugs themselves. It's the addiction. It's the excess. It's the overindulgence. It's the same thing when it comes down to other things that are just simply bad for you if you do too much of it. We need to have the ability to set limits and be responsible with things like that, or we need the help to keep us in check if we can't. And I know another big debate about it is, whether addiction is your genetics and something that you can't avoid and it's just part of your makeup, or if it's simply just an individual weakness.
Yeah, I think I probably have a bit of an addictive personality, but I've managed to always, control it somehow.
Yeah.
I've been out of control here and there. I've been in rehab 2 times.
Yeah, I was through a rehab when I was young.
When I realized that I am out of control here, I gotta fucking do something.
Yeah, I mean, I went to rehab mostly for pot when I was a teenager, just because it was,
They send you to fucking rehab for pot?
I just came up with a funny
think of
sketch idea where
that
it's
scene from
rehab
Half
for
Baked
child
too. You're here for
actors.
marijuana? You ever suck dick for marijuana?
I seen it!
Yeah, but no, I mean, I was trying other shit too, and you're 16, 17 years old, and you're trying all different things, and maybe it was. I certainly appreciate the experience because it gave me that perspective of what addiction is and what going too far is, and I'm very fortunate for the sake that cocaine is not something that I love. I'll never love it. Alcohol is not something that I love.
Yeah, I can't.
I can
do it.
drink on occasion, and I like to drink, and a
think we
couple
should drink
drinks is
this
fine.
here.
But I will never be a full blown alcoholic because I don't enjoy being drunk enough.
I don't enjoy being sick. Like,
I don't
really.
I don't enjoy that. I love being stoned, and I really don't see a day that's going to be out of my
Man,
life.
it makes like snack food way better.
Well, the thing about pot now is it's so goddamn potent.
It is. It
And
is.
in my day, you could smoke a big joint with another guy and smoke the whole fucking thing, 2 of you, and have a really nice fun time. And now, as I got older and smoked less, I still occasionally take a hit.
Yeah.
But
This shit.
as I got older and smoked less and less, the marijuana these days is so fucking potent that if I take 1 hit, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah. You're done. That's it.
The party's
Huge,
over.
man.
You're gonna find me in the bedroom with the coats sleeping. That's
Yeah, Joe and I got Robert Mukes insanely high in New Mexico. He needed a timeout. His night was over, and the guy's 3 times the size of me.
Dude, he is.
But
giant,
no, you're
man.
right. I mean, the weed is incredibly strong, but it's also more understood now too. And there are different levels, and there are bud takers and like bartenders that are weed experts that can
How do
tell
we
you
get into that
specifically
business?
what you need.
We
I
need
don't
to
know.
open up a weed.
They sound so
Bar.
fucking nerdy.
Yeah,
What's a
they
weed
do.
bar?
They
Is
do.
it a indica? Sounds
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the
Oh, I
people
hate
when
that
they,
shit.
they start
It becomes
talking
a
about
science. It's a
craft
science,
beers.
This is purple unicorn.
It is the
Kush.
exact equivalent to
Yeah.
craft beers, which I
Yeah.
can't stand either.
These
Yeah.
fucking nerds, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Nerds
You
with
know what? If
substance abuse
American
problems.
craft beer brewers will get past their love of IPA,
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
You're not a craft beer guy, are you?
Huh? I like an occasional craft. As a matter of fact, when my daughter and a couple of friends were visiting, we went to a little microbrewery pub downtown Nashville when they were here to have actually like a late breakfast or early lunch or something.
Yeah.
Like 10:30 in the morning. And I tried 2 things off their menu that I enjoyed, but I wouldn't sit and drink that.
Exactly. That's it. You can't drink 10 of them. It's not. You can't sit there and have a
And
night
the
of
thing is,
drinking
it's
craft
all-
beers.
Now
I don't
it's
care
all,
enough.
I
It's
swear to
like
God, it's all
football.
IPA.
It's like watching football. Man. I
Yeah,
don't care
my
enough.
brother Derek loved beer. Man, that was his thing. He loved pot too, but he loved beer. Yeah, but it was
Is he
just
your
it was
older
just
brother or younger brother?
my older brother who passed away in 2000. Yeah, when he was
Oh, I'm sorry.
27. Yeah. We talked about him a bunch last week in episode 2. But yeah, he loved beer. He loved beer for sure. More than me. I don't drink much beer. I'm a rum and vodka guy.
I can't even do that. Dude,
myself. I could drink plenty of rum and vodka, but
When we came back to the DoubleTree, man, I came upstairs and you were standing there with that mixed drink in your hand. Just
Yeah.
You were like doing little circles. Do you remember this?
no.
Dude, you were wrecked.
Was I?
Man, you were wrecked. Well, we had smoked all night and drank all night.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't drink.
And
but
and also I'm overtired at those conventions
at that
too.
point, yeah.
And if I don't sleep good, which happens, then I get like these burst blood vessels in my eyes, and people think I'm insanely high because my eyes just will not clear, no matter
Mine's
what.
really red.
Now what about the law, John? Have you gotten yourself in trouble with drugs and alcohol?
Yeah, the spring of 1971, I was indicted by a grand jury.
Well,
for trafficking in marijuana,
Yeah.
amphetamines, and LSD.
Oh, geez.
And they had no
You
fucking...
were a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
But they had no evidence.
Yeah.
None. This was a small town in Indiana.
Yeah.
And somebody, one of my so-called friends, a guy, he just come back from Vietnam, had this high school girlfriend
Yeah.
who was a friend of mine, and he gave her a bunch of acid to try to get in her pants or something. Just some really fucking
Yeah.
boneheaded thing. you know.
Yeah.
Classy
She
move.
started freaking out.
Sex with a girl who's
It's
tripping way too
1971.
hard is always a lot of
really.
fun. Yeah.
I
Is
just
it?
really
I don't
No,
know.
no, that sounds horrible.
That sounds
That was
sounds
an
like
idiot.
you had
Yeah.
trying to have sex with a mule.
And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
how it all started. And so she starts freaking out terribly, and he doesn't know what to do because he's high. You know, he's tripping.
Yeah.
And he takes her to the hospital instead of calling one of us. Takes her to the hospital. And the police come, of course, and he's there, like peeking on orange sunshine.
Oh my God.
And the police start asking him questions, and he just answered anything I wanted to know. So they opened up a grand jury investigation and busted about fucking 20 of us.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, he gave names.
Your
and
friend
all that
fucking
stuff.
sucks, dude.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
a
that
little
guy
dick.
sucked. What happened to him?
Yeah, what's he doing now? Where's he buried?
I don't know. I don't give
Probably
a
hanging out
rat's
with
ass.
Skippy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elijah
Same
Wood.
kind
Probably
of
still live
douche.
in that
Sure,
same.
high.
He's probably still living in that same trailer.
Yeah, exactly.
But
He states evidence. now.
Yeah,
He's
I had
indicted.
a run-in with the law down here in Florida a few years back. Basically, I had a friend had left. I mean, this sounds like the excuse you give the cops, but it's actually the truth. A friend had left like a handful of Klonopin, 5 or 6 Klonopin, in the middle console of my car, and I had some really, really fire, incredibly strong-smelling weed in my pocket. I hadn't smoked any in the car, but it just smelled
Just
so
reeked.
strong
Yeah.
just from my pocket. And I was in the middle lane of 3 lanes turning left in Florida onto 19. 3 lanes turning left. Somehow, I guess I went from the middle lane to the right lane as I was turning, in the process cutting in front of a cop that was in the right lane that I didn't
Oh, boy.
notice. He pulled me over. He comes up to the car, and he's talking to me for not even 30 seconds. And he's like, okay, when's the last time you smoked weed in this car? I said, I haven't smoked any weed, and I don't know what you're talking. He pulled me out, searched the car, and I was like, all right, I got a little bit of pot. In my head, I'm like, all right, I got a little bit of pot. I think I'll be all right. I'm going to get away with this, you know? Like,
Yeah.
this was like less than an eighth of weed.
Yeah.
And then I hear, oh, what are these pills in the center console? And oh, shit. And I didn't even fully understand, like, what Klonopin was at that time.
What is it?
It's anti-anxiety medicine. Some people take it because of anxiety, because of, like, nerves and tremors, and, like, and also to help sleep, and different reasons like that. It's often prescribed along with a
People take it for reasons.
depression drug. Yeah, they have reasons for taking it. Matter of fact, this is the irony of the story. But I get arrested. I get sent in jail for the night. I had to do 30 hours community service.
When was this?
This was in like 2012 or something. I had 30 hours community service, about $2,500 worth of fines, 9 months of probation where I was not allowed to smoke weed for 9 months.
Damn,
for the
that judge
first
did
time
not
in
like
my
horror
life.
movies.
No, he didn't give a shit about that. I never came up. But yeah, and I ended up having probation. Ironically, my probation officer ended up being a 6-foot redhead named Miss Loveday. I'm just going to say her name because
Oh!
it happened to be Loveday, and she was like this voluptuous.
Was she hot?
She
Or
was. She was
yeah,
incredibly
was she trying
hot.
to hit it?
Yeah, but she did test me a couple times, so I did have
Did she
have
hold
to
her dick
stop
when she
smoking
tested
weed.
you?
No, she didn't even look at it. But
Yeah. No, she's 6 foot tall. What are you?
yeah, exactly.
You gotta like jump on that fucking.
It depends on the angle.
Yeah.
But no, she was okay, but I had to stop smoking weed for 9 months. But I had to also pay $2,500 in fines. I spent a night in jail. I mean, I'm claustrophobic. That part sucked. I really hated
Yeah,
that.
sucking
It was
dick's
not
bad,
that big
too.
of a deal. It was one night, but I even hated like the 40 minutes in handcuffs in the back of this car.
Oh, I
The whole thing
enjoyed that.
for weed possession which now a couple years later, and I have a Florida prescription for marijuana and Klonopin.
You should go find Miss Loveday and be like,
I have a
"What is this?"
prescription for both of the things that I went through all that. So that, I mean, that just shows that not only has pot become a law of geography, but even medications like Klonopin are a law of authorized dealers.
Dude, I got 30 people
if
in
you
my
go
house
through the doctor
on prescriptions.
and you get it, it's no problem.
If I ever get pulled over for Klonopin, I'm cool. I've got like...
I didn't have a prescription at that time, and that was actually a felony charge. And then I went to a doctor. I said, I have anxiety. The first thing he wrote me a prescription for was Klonopin. So they want to sell it to you. It's just who you buy it from.
That's like
you
the
know,
Lexapro
which is really,
I suppose, bad too, man.
incredible. You know, I mean, I was looking up some of the stats, and I don't want to get analytical, stat heavy about things, but we, you know, they spend $40+ billion on the war on drugs, but they're still arresting 1.3 million people for drug possession every year in the country, roughly.
Shit
and I
charges
don't
too,
see
man.
how.
Some weed.
Yeah, some
18-year-old with
weed.
some weed in
Even
his
that, it
pocket.
was like 650,000 marijuana
So
possession
stupid.
arrests, which then come with a
stupid.
fine, come with the community service, come with
Yeah.
bonding,
And- and-
bonding yourself out. You know,
Well, you're
Did you call your
criminalizing
mom?
a whole bunch of people that don't mean, you know, that you don't, that really aren't criminals.
of course they're not. Of
Yeah.
course they're not. They're. I see. I do believe that when you're talking about the irresponsibility that being impaired can create, and you're trying to protect other people, there are laws that are necessary for that. I get that, but first
those
of
laws
all,
are already there.
those laws are there. Those laws are separate, and if I want to, you know, medicate myself, albeit improperly as it may be, how is that exactly someone else's business? And not only is it their business, but they can cause financial hardships on
Yeah,
you.
you're
They
right.
can, and this happens especially at a coming of age time. They're 15, 16, 17 years old. You want to, you know, you before you even know what you're going to be, where you're going to go to college, you get a couple stupid little drug charges that end up permanently putting your mugshot on you know, even 18, 19, 20 years old these days are ages where simple little drug charges are going to fuck up your opportunities in life.
Dude,
Yeah, my last real job that I had in the food and beverage industry was I was a bar manager in a gambling casino on the Ohio River, a casino boat. And the last thing I had to do, I'd already been hired on, I'd been working there for about a week. And I had to go interview with the gaming commission to get a gaming license. I had to be licensed in order to work in a casino. And I had to sit down with an Indiana State police officer. You know, this woman officer, very nice, you know, said, "No, just relax. You know, we'll get through this real quick." And she goes, "Do you have any skeletons? Is anything going to pop up?
Yeah.
Might screw this up." I said, "Yes, I do." She said, "Oh no, what?"
Oh no.
I told her that I was indicted by a grand jury for trafficking in dangerous drugs.
Which never sounds good.
Yeah.
That's
No,
not
it's
a good
just
sentence
awful.
to get through. Yeah.
You know, the grand jury indictment for one thing. It wasn't just
That
busted,
sounds
you know.
serious.
You
And
gotta say it with attitude, though.
Yeah. You gotta
she
say,
went-
maybe if you say it confidently, you'll
Yeah.
intimidate.
I was indicted by a grand jury.
But she was like,
and then
"Oh,
just stare
shit."
at her.
You
Am I
know,
hired?
She goes, when was this? I said 1971. She goes, "Oh hell, we don't care about that." I was,
Well, thank
I thought I
God
was gonna
there,
lose
at
my
least.
job over it. Oh hell.
Yeah. I mean, I am grateful that the laws are shifting to this much at least. I mean, I am smoking a joint with no fear of getting in any trouble because I went through the steps and I'm allowed to do that, and I was able to prove the point that it does help me. You know, I'm not a child anymore. I know what helps me and what hurts me, and I know what type of person I am with it, and I know what type of person I am without it. And you know, I still pay all the bills that I need to pay. I still get through my life for the most part just fine. Do I have some extra lazy days where I eat a little too much because I smoke too much weed? Yeah.
Every day for me.
Do I take a 2-hour
It's
nap
every day.
sometimes? Yeah. I mean,
I
that's
don't get
fine.
the nap, but yeah.
Do I get a little?
All of
Did I get through 8 episodes of MasterChef in the last 12 hours? Yeah, I
Yes.
did. I did, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. Did I binge a whole season?
I love
sure
those
did.
shows.
Oh, they're the best, right?
Yeah.
I want to see if I could be on
Can
it.
I read this? This is,
What? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, this is just because we're talking about crazy laws. This is in Alabama. Bear wrestling is prohibited. In Alabama, you're not allowed to wrestle a bear.
You can't wrestle a bear.
In Mobile, Alabama, it's against the law to throw confetti or spray silly string.
Even alone, you can't spray
yeah.
silly string or
You
confetti.
you can't
It's
throw
dangerous,
confetti
guys.
or
Do you not know the
spray
dangers
silly
of
string.
silly string?
Whoa. There was a confetti explosion at the end of the Impractical Jokers show last night. I wonder if
They're
we
in
all would have
trouble
been
in
arrested.
Alabama, yeah.
20 years.
In Mobile, it's illegal to spit or throw fruit skins on the sidewalk.
Well, I mean, we've all
Interesting.
been there.
Yeah,
Fruit skins, because they're
Yeah,
not
like a
digestible
plum,
easy
I
by
guess.
animals.
maybe.
Well, I've seen all those cartoons with the banana skin hurting people.
Yeah,
Sure.
exactly.
All
Yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah.
it makes sense.
A banana skin, that's different.
you know,
Wile E.
yeah.
Coyote's going to run into the
Yeah.
fucking wall.
In
You're not
Montgomery,
walking around there.
it's illegal to open an umbrella on the street because it might scare the horses.
Where? Where's that one?
Montgomery, Alabama.
Oh, Alabama especially
You're
has
really
got
into
some
this
fucked
Alabama
up
thing,
laws,
right?
huh?
Dominoes may not be played on Sunday. It's
Wow.
illegal to wear a fake mustache that causes laughter in church.
I had sex in the back of a movie theater in Birmingham, Alabama. Is that
That's-
how is that?
that's
Is
legal.
That's legal.
If you do it missionary, and
Hmm.
in Lee
How can
County,
you'd have to lay on the floor.
Missionary is
yeah.
real tough in a movie
Yeah,
theater.
well,
this is
that's why
Why
it's
did you?
legal.
Why
This is a-
have you
this
done
is a
that?
cowgirl
do it out in front of
situation,
everybody.
I always thought you were really creative, Alex, but
Alex, have you done that? Is that why you asked specifically about that?
I did do that. I have done that.
In
And
Lee
if you're
County-
gonna ask me that, I got some.
In that particular town?
Yeah. Oh, we got questions for him.
I did. Yeah. Maybe I
All right,
shouldn't talk
okay.
about it, but I did have sex in the back of a
Okay, I'm only gonna do the top 10.
movie screening in Birmingham.
What movie?
Alabama.
In where? What town?
I think it was in Birmingham, or maybe it was Mobile.
What was the
It might
movie?
have-
So it was in Alabama.
that doesn't matter.
It's unlawful to howl at ladies inside of the city limits. You can't sell peanuts after sundown on a Wednesday. You can't salt the railroad tracks.
You know who it was with.
And you can't dress up as a priest on Halloween.
Really?
Yeah.
You can't,
You can't
do
do
those
what
things.
to a railroad track?
You can't throw salt on a railroad track.
Oh, is it bad luck?
Who knows, man? Yeah. I mean, throwing salt, yeah. What's
Well,
it become?
I got
Glass?
some
I don't know.
some have you questions for you, John. We did this with our last two guests, Felissa Rose and Christina Leese, and I made them a little more appropriate for you. Here are 10 have you questions for you.
Oh, man.
John Dugan, have you ever dined and dashed?
No.
No. As a someone in the business, I have to respect that.
He worked in restaurants. He
Yeah,
didn't have
exactly.
to.
That's the business I was referring to.
Yeah.
Have you ever had an unhealthy obsession with anyone?
Candace Bergen.
Something
No,
borderline
I don't-
running the memories.
He's not going to tell us.
Yeah, I'm trying to
She's still
remember.
alive.
Did it ever get unhealthy?
Possibly, yeah. I think
Something was borderline.
Well, I think
you try
someone
to
who
eat
was done with me. We've been together. She was done with me, but I was not done yet. And
Right,
so I
okay.
think that's-
We've all been there.
Yeah.
Have you ever been caught cheating by an ex?
Caught cheating? No.
Yep. No? Have you ever slept with a married woman?
Yes.
Have you ever shit your pants as an adult?
Yes.
Have you ever blamed a fart on someone else?
Yes.
Have you ever
An
skid?
old toddler, a little toddler kid.
Have you ever? I'd asked Christine and Fliss if they ever cleaned a fish, but I was going to up the ante for you. Have you ever skinned an animal?
I've skinned a fish.
Yeah, okay, me too. That's
No,
the only one I've done
I've never
too.
I've never like skinned a deer. Or
No,
anything
me
like
neither.
that, or
Me neither.
rabbit.
I don't think I could. Anyways, have you? This I think I know. Have you ever blacked out from alcohol? Do you black out?
Yeah. Yes. As a matter of fact, I can remember the one time,
Yeah,
the first and only time that I remember I blacked out.
yeah. Sometimes you only know from stories. That's
yeah,
the only way you ever found out.
I was in
Make a
Greece.
bacon at 7-Eleven.
Where were you?
I was in Athens, Greece, and I was
That's the
staying
place
on
to do
I
it.
was I was staying on the roof of a hotel by Ammonia Square, and you could just lay your sleeping bag out on the roof for like a couple drops because it never ever rains in Greece.
Is that currency?
Summertime. Huh?
Is that currency? Grox?
Drachma, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's just a few drops to just toss your sleeping bag out there, and they had some cover with cots, and stuff like that. And then there were 2 rooms up there too that actually had sinks, and they had a closed door and all that stuff. Anyway, I was staying up there, and these people from Iowa, they were from Iowa, was staying up there, and they had a friend coming in, and we went down to the I don't know where the airport bus comes in, and we met her, and then we went on like a 2-day fucking drunk, showing her the size of Athens. We've gone up to the
that you know of.
Yeah, I remember. We've gone up to the
this is the Parthenon.
To the Parthenon, exactly. Up to the Acropolis, overlooking the city, and we had a couple bottles of Retsina wine and a bottle of Ouzo and all sorts of stuff. And they had rented a car. They had a Volkswagen.
This sounds safe.
And the last I remember was getting in that fucking car after we left.
Oh, that's the worst place to black out.
Yeah.
And I woke up in my sleeping bag on the roof of the hotel.
Wow.
Oh man, that is not good time to lose.
Yeah.
So I walked. These people had a room on the roof, and I poked my head in the door, and the girl was like washing out her bra in the sink or something, doing something sort of domestic, And everybody looked at me, and she goes, "I bet you want to know what you did last night, don't you?" And I was like, "Oh, shit."
Was it something to cause you to wash out your bra?
Does it involve your
yeah, exactly.
I must have done something to your tits, I guess.
Sounds like I had a great time.
But I said, "Oh, how bad was?" I just said, "How bad was it?" And one of the guys said, "Well, do you remember when you did the Munchkin song and the little dance?"
Oh my gosh!
Like from
I
Wizard
said,
of
"No,
Oz."
and I don't want to hear any
I can picture it. Yeah, that's a good time to stop the story.
The Lollipop Guild, that one?
Yeah. It must have been.
Yeah.
I could actually picture you doing that too. I blacked out, since this did turn into a story. I'll give one real quick. I blacked out at a convention once. Evidently, I never thought I would black out, but I was drinking a lot. And anybody who does know me knows that I don't ever like pretend to have money. I don't have much money. I save what I can. I work hard, but I never pretend to be rich. I never.
Yeah.
But supposedly, I was smoking a cigarette, and we went into someone's car, obviously, to smoke weed. And I was smoking a cigarette too.
The random people
and
we smoke
and
weed
they
with.
said that I put my cigarette out on the floor of their passenger seat. And they were like, "What are you doing, man?" And I was like, "Oh, I'll buy you another one. What's the big deal?" And they told me this story, and I was like, "There's no fucking way that happened."
Yeah.
And all 4 people in the car said, "Oh, absolutely, that happened. That's exactly what you said."
Wow.
Last night.
I'll buy you another
I'll buy you a
one.
new one. That was never me.
Millionaire Alex.
Dude, you got mistaken for Sean Austin again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They thought you were Elijah Wood.
No, I don't know if he...
You thought you were Elijah Wood.
That's a bad night. All right, 2 more questions for you, John. Have you ever gotten a DUI?
Yes.
Okay. I just had that
Own
one.
it.
I never got... And the last question, which is...
When I was in my 40s, I finally caught up with me when I was in my 40s.
Yeah.
Because I actually I had a burnout taillight, and the guy said, "I said, let me ask you something. Do I seem that drunk to you? Because the breathalyzer really didn't do well. Not very
Didn't
well
get
at
good
all.
grades on that test.
And I said, "Do I seem that drunk to you?" When my numbers came up, he goes, "No, not at all." He said, "How much you must drink a lot."
Yeah.
He goes, "If I blew that high, I'd be throwing up and passed out by now."
And then
I
put you in
said, yeah.
handcuffs and walked you
And he
away.
goes, "As a matter of fact, if it wasn't for that taillight, the burnout taillight, I never would have pulled you over. You weren't like weaving down the road or anything."
Well,
I was kind of proud, you know.
I've seen you after quite a few, and you're still able to hold court and tell some great stories too. So I appreciate you telling us some good stories tonight.
Setting.
Well, I have one more question for you, which was courtesy
stories.
of my sound engineer here. Have you ever had, and your life is interesting enough that I thought it was worth asking because it's possible. Have you ever had sex with a hitchhiker?
And what was his name?
No, but I do have. I almost had sex as a hitchhiker.
All right.
I got a couple questions.
No, I'll tell you this one real quick. I was 16 or 17 years old. I was hitchhiking to Bloomington, Indiana, from my hometown.
Oh my God, is this a Gacy story?
This is only John would. This was the right question to ask because I know there's. Go ahead.
I was hitchhiking down for homecoming, 1970, I guess, and the fall of 1970 or 69, 70, I guess, and I get out of town. I make it a ways out of town, and I get to where I have to turn to go due south to Bloomington, and an old guy picks me up in just a beat up, terrible beat up pickup truck. You know.
Yeah.
I toss my rucksack in the back of the truck and hop in, and I'm trying to be friendly, and he will not look at me or smile or say anything.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, shit, you know. And so I was trying to make conversation with him, and it was the year of the terrible corn blight, where all the corn was dying and all the farmers were having
corn play into this somehow?
Corn holing, maybe.
Corn
I knew it.
Corn
so,
I don't care.
So I tried to ask him about that, and, you know, he just kind of blows me out. It's like, I just said the blight causing a problem. He goes, yeah, it's everybody's problem. So I thought, okay,
how about that corn,
you don't want to talk about that. So we come around this curve to where I have to get off at Highway 46, which is the curve I thought I told you it was at before. But we come around this big curve, and there's a flashing red light, and I'm like, oh, thank God he's going to have to stop, you know. And so I said, I'm getting off right here. And he turns and looks at me and goes, you wouldn't want to have your Peter played with a little bit there, would you?
That's the best sell ever.
And so
you're like, yeah, all right.
Balls.
Yeah.
And so I said, of course, I said, what?
Oh, I thought you were going to say that. You were like, yeah, dude.
Who turns that down?
Yeah.
You'll remember
wouldn't want to have your Peter played with a little bit, would you? And I said, no, sir, thanks a lot. I'm getting off up here.
I love that you'll remember exactly how he said that for the rest of your life.
And then he goes, well, have you ever had blowjob for it? Which I hadn't been that lucky yet, you know. And I said, no, sir. He goes, oh, you want one? And I said, no. And he's getting closer and closer to this, flashing red light. And I got my hand on the door handle of the truck, and I'm thinking, I have to get my rucksack out of the back.
Yeah, you do.
I got to do this. I have to be really fast.
Duck and roll.
And this is how he got his first blowjob.
Yeah.
And so I open up the door as he's slowing down. I'm stepping out, and he has a running board on this old truck, thank God. So I'm standing on the running board and reaching around. I got the door open. He's slowing down to stop, and he goes, how about a couple dollars just to look at it?
Oh, my God.
And I went, no.
Oh, you didn't do that either?
I off the truck with my rucksack.
Man, you missed a lot of
I mean, you're kind of a prude.
Yeah.
I gotta tell.
When I almost had sex while hitchhiking.
I gotta tell anyone
That's
who's listening who may think that we set this conversation up. I had no idea that question would lead to that story.
I got a couple questions when you're done.
Okay, go ahead. Mikey Wells, Body Piercer, and He-Man has some questions for you.
He-Man.
All right. Okay. Here we go.
It's He-Man.
Who is the most famous person you've smoked weed with, and why is it Michael J. Fox?
The most famous person I smoked weed with?
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably. Oh boy, it's been a few. Toby Hooper.
Nice.
Kim Henkel, of course. She was there as well.
Yeah.
William Forsythe.
Okay, Bill. Yeah, I haven't smoked with him. I drank with him.
Oh, shit. Be careful.
Yeah?
He'll put you down, boy.
Yeah, I believe it.
He killed an entire party in Nashville a few years ago. Just, everybody was like, okay, I got to go. We were having a great time.
He's standing there in his loose shorts. Hey!
Okay, go ahead. Another question.
Okay, one more question.
Was at that party. I'm trying to think my LA.
We're getting the dirt now.
Yeah.
All right, I got another question.
Okay.
Bobby knew. Bobby knew.
We're getting all the dirt out here.
It's a long list.
Yeah. All right, sweet.
It's more of a scroll.
Okay.
One more question for you.
What's the next question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who do you think would win in a fight? Alex Vincent or Elijah Wood?
Oh, man. Saw that coming.
Alex or Elijah Wood. I think Elijah Wood.
Oh, geez. Thank you, John. Thanks, John. Get my ass kicked by a hobbit. Now, Mikey's...
Oh, Elijah Wood. I was thinking of Tobey Maguire.
That's even worse, I think. All right, I'll remember that one.
Yeah, David Schwimmer.
I don't want to fight Tobey Maguire, actually. He's probably
David
in pretty
Schwimmer
good shape.
Or who?
He's probably in pretty good shape.
Jason Biggs.
Jason Biggs or David Schwimmer?
Yeah, they fought. They're the same person, basically.
I'm going to have to say Jason Biggs.
Who was cracking up back there?
Yeah,
was that on your end?
Do you have a bird?
That was Stacy.
That was Stacy. That was a good laugh, Stacy. All right, John, I got to let you go. We got our band, The Resonance, who's going to come in and chat with me for a bit, and they're performing live tonight. So we got to get them on shortly.
It was great talking to you,
thank you for having you on. Anyway,
Nice talking to you guys. I'll see you down the road.
It was wonderful speaking with you.
Anytime you don't have a guest or something, give me a call.
I will. I'll be happy to have you.
Yeah, these stories are great.
All right, John, thanks. We'll talk more soon.
Enjoy your meatloaf.
What if that guy's still alive? What if that old guy's still alive?
Oh, man, dude. What was his name?
I wonder how many other guys he's asked that to, just like that, too.
Yeah,
Peter played with?
You want to have your Peter played with?
He probably had a little venture. It might have been. I should have probably.
He was a Lemon Party member.
You want to get your Peter played with?
Want me to suck on it?
Okay, break a leg, guys.
All right.
It was a lot of fun.
Thanks, John.
Hang loose.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Thanks, bud.
Let me see it.